You like that title, huh? Maybe when you were growing up, you did something wrong and your parents said, now, tell the truth. Because you have, well, why would they say that? Because you have already said something and they're saying, I don't buy that, right? Tell the truth. You know, again, I said something about history, right? Whenever you try to change what really happened, that's called a lie. And today there's this term called historical revisionism. That's just another word for lie. Okay? I don't know, how many of you saw the movie Pocahontas? Huh? So in the movie, what they say, who's the hero in the movie?
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. Is that the truth? How many would say that's the truth?
No.
Pocahontas is a hero. Because this was something that really happened in history, right? Now, who was Pocahontas?
He was a strong man.
She
was a strong native woman.
Okay, she was a strong native woman.
Helping everybody instead of herself.
Okay, so now how many of you would believe that Pocahontas was the one that was the main character that helped other people? Is what really happened.
She brought the Indians and the whites together.
Okay, so if you study history though,
I know the cartoon.
you know the cartoon, but did you read the history of what really happened? Okay, so I challenge you to go read the history. Because really, there was another person that was the main character in that movie, right? Who was that? Huh? John
Smith.
John Smith? Okay. And who was he? We don't even know. According to the movie, you don't really know who he is, right?
He was
an explorer.
The main explorer, the main pilgrim who went out and made contact with the natives first.
Okay. So, but what was the reason?
They bring the Indians together.
Because he wanted to take over their land at first, but then he changed his mind.
Well, let's go back a little bit. How many of you really know the purpose of the pilgrims coming to America?
Because the Indians.
Get away from what?
The rule of England.
Yeah.
Was that the main reason? The main reason is because the Church of England and the King were saying that you have to believe in the way they were teaching. So the pilgrims came over to America to find freedom from a dictatorship of the church. To be able to freely worship God in the way they wanted. To worship the Judeo-Christian God, not just any religion now. Of course, that has changed today, because it has changed to worship whatever you want to, or did you know that atheism, a belief that there is no God, is a religion? In fact, it's such a strong religion that people will die to protect their belief. I mean, how many of you know people that are atheists? How many of them, when you have a conversation, they will insist that God is, there's no such thing as God, right? And they will get mad about it. You see, when your emotions get involved in something of your belief system, then when someone challenges your belief system, you get angry. This week, this Wednesday, we're going to show the movie God Is Not Dead. Okay? And you probably heard the song by the Newsboys, God's Not Dead, He's truly alive. Right? Okay, so the thing is that if we understand truth, how are we going to know what truth is? You see, with an atheist, where do they base their foundation of their belief system. Well, we know that there's a guy named Darwin, Charles Darwin, right? He wrote a book called
I know Charles Darwin.
The Origin of Species. How many of you had to read that when you were in school? You know? And basically, Darwin wanted people to believe, see, a belief system, right? Believe not the truth, but a lie, saying that God did not create us, but we evolved. Now tell me, which is harder to believe? That God, who is God, created by speaking the truth, word, out, and all of a sudden he said, let there be light, and guess what? There's light. Right? Everything he said happened. He has never changed. He has never lied. He is the truth. So here, I know where Darwin got it from. He didn't all of a sudden have so much wisdom when he thought about all this stuff. Right? He didn't want to believe in God. Because why do people not want to believe in God? Because if you believe in God, you have to do what God says. You have to obey His commandments. But when it goes contrary to your belief system, like if you want to have sex with if you're a woman and you want to have sex with a woman, what does the Bible say about that?
Wrong.
It's wrong. It's detestable to God. Or if you want to kill babies, is that right or wrong?
Wrong. Wrong.
What does the Bible say? Thou shalt not
Kill.
You see, there's some standards that God set down, but then the devil comes in and tries to twist the meaning of what God said to change it so that you will be able to swallow it. That's just like, fishing, and I told you this before. When you go fishing, what is parts of the tools of fishing? You have a what?
Hook.
A pole
And a hook.
and a line. You have a
Hook.
thing that you
A rod,
right?
a rod.
And then you have on the end of the line you have a hook and a weight. Okay. And that's all, right? So you throw that hook inside the water and you expect to get something.
No.
Oh, you have to have
Bait.
what we call a lure, right? Sometimes they use a word.
Lower, or minnow, or worms,
They,
or grasshopper,
no, they use.
or frog.
Or a lure or something that looks
They
like
use some
something that
eggs.
tastes good, right? So the fisherman will go out there and cast his line out there. And he's actually lying, He's deceiving the fish to think that the fish is getting something to eat. He's being a nice man, and he is giving you something to eat. So the fish comes out, oh, this is great. He's feeding me, right? And then the fish bites, and guess what? Gets caught. Does that sound like something that's happening today? The government is saying, oh, you can have free money,
Wrong.
free health care.
Wrong.
You don't have to work.
Wrong.
And so what happens is people are going to vote for the person that's going to give them all this free stuff. Free education, right? Cancel all your student loan. Free. And they have bitten into the lie and they swallowed it and they're caught. That's what has happened to America today. Because they don't know what the truth is. So what better way than to go to the Word of God to find out what the Word of God says? Again, the Lord, okay, read it together. The Lord, okay, wait a minute. Because we hear these words, but what I don't like is when we read something and we don't even bother to find out what it says, really. Because if you don't know what detest means, then do you understand understand what it's saying. So what does the word detest mean? Like, it's disgusting. To the Lord, lying lips are disgusting.
But, yeah.
But he delights in people who are trustworthy. Now, who do you trust?
God.
Do you trust someone that's always telling you lies?
No.
Or do you trust more someone that always tells the truth?
Yes. Yes.
Okay? In 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter, it says, finally, all of you be like-minded. Be sympathetic, love one another, and be compassionate. Oh, no. Do I have to be humble?
Yes.
That's what it says, right? Do not repay evil with evil. So when someone does something bad to you,
Turn the other cheek. Great.
punch them back.
Turn the other cheek.
That's what we do.
No.
When someone hurts us, we want to retaliate. We want to get even.
Turn the other cheek.
But Peter says, do not repay evil for evil or insult with insult. If someone calls you a name and you call them a name back. I know I used to do that in high school, you know. When I went from a parochial Christian school and went into high school, I wanted to, all of a sudden, I didn't want to be different than everybody else. And so someone would call me a name, you know. In Hawaiian, the word is mahu. And that's the word for a gay person. Okay? You mahu.
Mahu.
Oh boy, that's a fighting word, you know. So guess what I did?
What? You fight?
I said, well, you mahu too. Did that solve the problem?
No.
It causes tension, it causes problems. You see? And so don't repay insult for insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessings. Now that's the hardest thing to do. When someone cusses you out, do it like when someone sneezes.
Bless you.
Bless you!
Bless you.
What do people say?
Bless you.
I mean, they don't have to be a Christian to bless you, right? They say bless you. And that's what we're supposed to do when someone says something bad to us. Bless you. With the right attitude, not bless you. You know, type of thing. Because when we repay evil with good, it actually changes the attitude. Now, it might not happen overnight, but eventually, when someone puts you down, now, how many of you had somebody put you down before? When someone puts you down, the wrong thing to do, the devil's way of doing it is to get angry and attack the person because they hurt you. What does Jesus want you to do?
Turn the other cheek.
He says, pray for those who persecute you. Bless and curse not. So here we are. Because to this you were called, so that you may what? Inherit a blessing. Now you might think of it, okay, if I do this, then I'm going to get a blessing. No, that's not what you're doing. It's the result of doing it the God's way, by returning good for evil. Suddenly there's this peace that comes about you that, wow, this is cool. And if you're not used to doing that, guess what? I'll give you a challenge. The next time someone tries to put you down, insults you, calls you names, or does bad things against you, treat them with good. Right? Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself, but you know, he also says, love your enemies as yourself. Ooh!
Ow.
Do I have to?
Yeah, you hurts.
That's the hardest thing to do, right?
Yeah.
When someone's tearing you apart and just is vicious against you, to turn around and say, I love you. No, that's hard. But you know what? Nothing that is good is easy. It takes work. You see, when we just kind of roll with the flow and expect good things to happen, guess what happens? We're apathetic, and then we cannot receive the blessing God gives us. He wants us to be proactive in responding to the negative things of life. It says, for what? Whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech. Now, you guys know what deceitful means, right? What does that mean? What kind of speech? Deceit. Lying. That's an easy way of putting it because you guys all understand what lying is, right? Okay? Untruthfulness. They must. Okay, now what was the... You guys know what that word must means, right?
Yeah.
Must. What does that mean?
Do.
Huh?
Must do all things. You have to do.
This is what you need to do. You must do it. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. You must. That's what is required of us as Christians, is to do what is right. And yet, the devil doesn't want you to do it. You know why? Because he's trying to bring us down. And he will do everything in his power to corrupt our minds, to make us think that by treating other meanly, that it is better for us. Because, you know, why do people call people names? Well, they feel insecure. They feel lowly. So in order to feel better, they think that if they push you down, then they will be higher than you are. How many of you like it when people call you names? No, not when I say Rodney.
Oh, you say call you names.
Mr. Taylor. No. When they call you bad names, insult you, what do you think about that person?
I don't want to be around that
You don't want to be around that person.
No way.
You think the guy's a jerk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. A big one. Yeah.
And then think about it. Okay, so the other person, you're calling that person a name. What is it in his mind? Well, that guy's a jerk. So don't do it, right? Simple. For the eyes of the Lord. Now, when does God go to sleep?
Never.
Okay, so for the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears, does he ever close his ear down?
No.
Okay, are attentive to their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. When Jesus died on that cross, in the middle of the day, what happened?
He died for us.
The sky turned black.
Yeah.
Why? Because God is light, and when Jesus took on the sin of the world, your sin and my sin, and placed it on Jesus, right?
He died for us.
God cannot look upon sin. He cannot have a relationship with evil. And guess what God did?
He died for us.
He turned his back against his own son. That has got to be the hardest thing that God ever did. Now you think about things that are impossible for God. Nothing's impossible with God, but he did it because he loved us that much. Has anybody done as what the Romans and Jews did to Jesus, to you? Then don't make excuses about they're not worth loving. I know you have thought that before, right? They're not worth loving. They're disgusting. I hate them. Those are these are things that you need to throw out of your vocabulary. Except you can say, I hate evil. Right? I hate evil. And a lot of times when I'm doing counseling, I says, you know what? When you are having problems, take the problem and put it on the table and address the problem. But instead of addressing the problem, what we do is attack the other person, the person that you care about, the person that you love, your family members, your brothers, your sisters, your parents. We tend to get so angry at them, and that's what the devil wants. He wants to separate the relationship.